Welcome back everybody to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Today we will go over the fight card for tomorrow, February 24th, Moreno versus Royval. Sorry about the lateness of this video, I just couldn't get to it fast enough. Unfortunately, busy. But nevertheless, we're going to go over this fight card really quick. I'm going to get it out as fast as I can. As usual, we'll start off with the opening card and we'll move to the main event. So let's get this started. First fight, Eric Silva versus Mohamed Naimov. Eric Silva, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 9 wins, 2 losses, 36 years old. Mohamed Naimov, 5'9", 70-inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 29 years old. Eric Silva got into the UFC really late, talented on the ground. He's very durable on the feet. He can take a lot of punishment. He's got okay striking. I think his path to victory will be on the ground. He's 36 years old. Hard to tell if he's slowing down. He hasn't shown that he's slowing down, but he is at that age. Either he's still at his peak or he's starting to diminish. He is a pretty significant underdog in this one. So that's something to take note of, because he's almost, even though I've got high confidence that Naimov might win, it just this guy's in a big dog territory. Mohamed Naimov, you know what? I don't know what to think about this guy. I mean, he's looked really bad when he first started, and then he came in on short notice and knocked out Malarkey. I remember busted a big parlay of mine. But up to that point, when you look at the fight, he was actually losing that fight. And if he didn't knock out Malarkey, he would have lost that fight. Then he moves on and he fights Nathaniel Wood. And I had Nathaniel Wood. I picked him against Naimov. And I find that Nathaniel Wood was probably winning the fight, and I remember in the first round, Naimov hurt Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood later on hurt him. Naimov had top control at the end of the round. Wood had some top control, and I remember in the last 20 seconds, Wood rushed the position and got basically flipped over from the rear naked choke position and went on the ground. Naimov landed a couple of shots and he ended up stealing that round. And then moving on to the second round, Naimov took the second round and Wood came back and beat the hell out of Naimov and almost stopped it in the third round, and they gave the decision to Naimov. This was in Abu Dhabi. Honestly, both wins from this guy is very opportunistic. So it's kind of like an opportunistic win with Malarkey, opportunistic win because of one mistake from Wood. That doesn't mean he's not very strong. He's getting better at his craft. He's much better than when we first saw him when he lost to Anglin. So, I mean, I am leaning to him, even though I think Silva does have paths to victory and he's very strong. It's hard to say how each of them they're going to react to the elevation, and again, the elevation is going to be a big thing in Mexico City. But Silva has known to tire as well. I'm going to pick Naimov because I think he's going to be just a stronger fighter. But honestly, with the huge price tag on this guy, I mean, it's almost worth like a dog shot on Silva because he does have a path to victory. Naimov's a big question mark to me. Like I said, his last two wins were very opportunistic. Mind you, Nathaniel Wood, even to come down to that, is still a pretty good outcome because Nathaniel Wood is a pretty good fighter. So that's why I'm going to pick Naimov for the victory. Keep in mind that you could always put a sprinkle on Silva just because he is such a huge underdog. Mental note on that. But the pick's going to be Naimov. Moving on, Victor Altamirano versus Felipe Dos Santos. Victor Altamirano, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 12 wins, 3 losses versus 12 wins, 3 losses, 33 years old. Felipe Dos Santos, 5'7", 70-inch reach, 7 wins, 1 loss, 23 years old. 10-year difference. People like usually taking the younger guy. In this fight, I mean, I looked at Victor Altamirano. I really like his fighting style. I think he's kind of awkward. I mean, almost fights like, what's that guy? The name is eluding me. Anyways, he's just got an awkward defense where he's always bending down. And he's got these awkward movements, but it works for him, right? He's got pretty good gas tank, and I believe he does train down in Mexico City, so he'll be very well climatized to elevation. He's talented. He's good on the ground. He can get some takedowns. You know, I really wanted to pick Altamirano. This is one of those coin flip fights. Dos Santos, I mean, what are we going off of him of? He's very young. He's very durable. He was a last minute substitute for against Cap, and he did really well. And I guess he did really well simply because he survived to the end of the round. He had some moments where he kind of landed some good shots on Cap, but what kept him in through the whole fight was the fact he kept putting pressure on Cap. Cap didn't have a chance to set up, and he has a really granite chin that wasn't Cap wasn't able to crack. Even though he had, like, I think, a flash knockdown, he quickly recovered and Dos Santos came back. I'm going to go with Dos Santos. I think he's going to be very durable. He's very young. Question marks are going to be elevation and how crafty is Altamirano. He is 10 years older, but he's at his prime. He's not diminishing. He's in Mexico. He's going to have the crowd behind him. I'm going to pick Dos Santos, but it's going to be in a very low confidence. I could see me, picking Altamirano. He's a pretty big underdog, like, and play him in a, some kind of funky parlay kind of thing, right? Pick's going to be the Santos, not, I'm committing to that, but I will have Altamirano in other option plays because of the odds and because of how close I think this fight's going to be. Moving on. Luis Rodriguez versus Dennis Bondar. Luis Rodriguez, 5'6", 65.5-inch reach, 16 wins, 2 losses, 24 years old. Dennis Bondar, 5'6", 69-inch reach, 16 wins, 5 losses, 31 years old. Dennis Bondar, big letdown in the UFC. He has fought some decent competition. He hasn't shown the best, most the best skills. He's a ground guy, but the last time he fought, he wasn't even taking it to the ground. He was trying to outstrike. I think he was fighting Gonzalez, and he just got outboxed, outmoved. Just everything. I just don't question his fight IQ, but I think he had a hard time taking him down too because Gonzalez also had good takedown defense and good at get-up game. He wasn't, accepting the position. Bondar seems like he's always thinking he's winning. And he's kind of low output. Normally I would like to bet against Bondar, but here's it is with Luis Rodriguez. He's a young guy. He had a chance to get into the UFC. He lost a really close fight against a guy who didn't do really well at UFC, but if you look at the guy he lost to, and I can't remember his name, the guys he fought that he lost to were actually pretty good guys. So he lost and he got basically killed in the UFC. But the guys he was fighting was at a decent level. They weren't the low-end guys. They were kind of mid-range guys. And so it's not that Rodriguez had lost to a real, terrible guy. It's hard to tell how good he could have been. I think they immediately put him up to the mid-level, and the guy couldn't survive there. So is Rodriguez a mid-level guy? It's been 2 years, I think, since that fight, or 3 years at least. Looking at the regional scene, I saw Rodriguez fight a guy named Angel, who was a real journeyman type of fighter. I was really disappointed in how much he was getting hit and how long it took him to take him out. He actually looked worse in that fight than he did in the Contender Series fight a few years before that, and I thought I would see some huge improvements. Now that leads me to believe, is the guy taking that level of competition seriously? Because it looked like he just wanted to be in a brawl, in a fight, and give the fans a show. So I don't want to overestimate what he did against Angel in that league. I don't want to have too much emphasis on is what I'm trying to say, because it almost looked like he was playing with him and he was letting the guy in the fight. He wasn't using all his tools, and he just wanted a big brawl in the end. So I think he's better than that. He was better than that 3 years before that. Yeah, so I don't think that's a true representation of how good he is. Bondar has been a big disappointment. He finds a way to lose. I'm going to go with Luis Rodriguez. Very, a mid-level confidence play. I think he's the younger guy. He's got more hype. He's more popular. He's training in Mexico. I think he's been at elevation for a while. I think he's going to win this. I'm going to pick Luis Rodriguez on this one. Moving on, Claudio Puelles, 5'10", 72-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 27 years old. Fares Ziam, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 14 wins, 4 losses, 26 years old. Fares Ziam looks like he's really improved his takedown defense. He's really long for the division. He's got a long reach, excellent point fighter and kickboxer from the outside. Puelles, not such a great striker. He's an okay striker. He's somewhat effective. But his trick is this. He's going to try to get you. He doesn't even have great takedowns. But once he gets to the ground, even if you took him down, he's going to go for leg locks. And the guy's super dangerous on the ground. I mean, it's quite simple. If Puelles can't take ZM down, ZM can keep him on the outside. He's going to piece him up on the outside. That's what happened with Puelles against, what's that Australian fighter? But mind you, that Australian fighter is quite, is up there. He's in the top 15. What was his name? I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, the path to victory for ZM is quite easy. Keep him at range. Don't go to the ground under any circumstances, because this guy is a master on the ground. Even if you fall on top of him, get up and get away, kind of thing. So Fares ZM has a definite path to victory. I don't think either one of them are acclimatized to that elevation. I'm going to go with ZM on this one. Puelles, I mean, he's a Peruvian fighter. I'd like to really lean a lot on the Mexican fighters, just because they might be acclimatized. They're going to have the hometown advantage. I think the UFC wants him to win. In this case, Puelles is a Peruvian fighter. I'm not really putting too much on that. So ZM's going to be the pick. Mid-level confidence to high. Moving on, Edgar Cherez versus Daniel Lacerda. Edgar Cherez, 5'7", 71-inch reach, 10 wins, 5 losses, 28 years old. Daniel Lacerda, 5'6", 70-inch reach, 11 wins, 5 losses, 27 years old. We've broken this fight down so many times. The last 2 times these guys were scheduled to fight, I picked Lacerda. Okay, I'm flipping it. I'm going to pick Cherez. I didn't like what I saw the last time. I think they're going to be in Mexico. They're going to be at elevation. Lacerda burns out after the first round. If you think he burned out before, wait until you see him what happens at elevation. He's going to burn out even faster. Cherez seemed like he could handle him on the feet. Lacerda, he wasn't fighting according to his game plan, which I was counting on even last time. He was trying to conserve his energy. He obviously could take Cherez down, but he didn't seem like he can control him on the ground. The thing is if Lacerda doesn't fight his game plan, I don't think he's going to be effective enough to outpoint and beat Cherez. And come the second round, you're going to see Lacerda fade. I don't care which game plan he's using. That's what I'm thinking. So Cherez is going to be the pick on this one. Moving on, Jesus Aguilar versus Mateus Mendonca. Jesus Aguilar, 5'4", 62-inch reach, 9 wins, 2 losses, 27 years old. Mateus Mendonca, 5'6", 71.5-inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 25 years old. Jesus Aguilar, he's 5'4". He's probably not even 5'4". He's got the shortest reach in the UFC. The guy is literally probably midget status, but he's difficult. He's difficult to handle because he's short, he's round, he's barrel-chested, and he's tenacious. He doesn't get tired. He keeps coming after you. He's like a little demon in there. So I really like his fighting style. Even though it looks like he's probably going to get his ass kicked, the guy just keeps coming at you until you get tired. And he has got a really good choke. He's got good takedowns, good chokes. What's not to like? He's entertaining. He's Mexican. He's training there at elevation. Mateus Mendonca, his fight IQ seemed very suspect. He did really well against what are those brothers? Sorry guys, I'm blanking out big time. Anyways, he fought one of the brothers. He made a pretty good showing of himself because of the last minute fight. Then after that, he fought another fight and he made some really bad decisions on the ground. He seems like he wants to stay on the ground. I think he might be better technically on the ground, but I think he also gets tired. I think he makes some bad decision. I think Aguilar's is going to be more tenacious. Aguilar's the underdog. I'm going to go with Aguilar in Mexico City to get this done in the later rounds, possibly second and third round. Mendonca's going to be dangerous at first. Aguilar seems pretty durable. I don't think he's going to get knocked out. He might lose the first round on strikes. I think he's going to take over as the fight goes on. And Mendonca seems pretty sloppy, and I think against this guy, he might find himself in a deep choke. Moving on, Christian Quinones versus Raoni Barcelos. Christian Quinones, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 18 wins, 4 losses, 27 years old. Raoni Barcelos, 5'8", 72-inch reach, 17 wins, 5 losses, 36 years old. You know what? Normally, I mean, this is not even a fair fight. Barcelos should be able to beat this guy hands down. The problem is he's 36 years old. He just had a super bad knockout of a really good fighter. I mean, where does this guy go? Like, how fast is he's diminishing? 100%. How fast is he diminishing? Is he at Quinones level, who lost against Kang with a standing submission choke? And Kang, I don't know, he's kind of a mid-level guy. Is Barcelos better than mid-level guys? This is a real toss-up. I mean, Quinones should win. He's going to have the better gas tank. He's going to be climatized to the elevation. Barcelos is getting older. I'd imagine he's going to start looking tired in the second and the third round. He's very dangerous on the ground. Quinones got excellent strikes on the outside. I think Barcelos is not going to shoot right off the bat. He's going to want to engage him into striking. I went back and forth. Honestly, I picked Barcelos at first, but then I flipped my pick to Quinones. Just looking at the dynamics of the fight, yeah, I mean, I had a bet on Barcelos right off the bat, and it's still there. I'm probably not going to keep it. Well, I might keep it, but if I put a parlay up, I might just pick Quinones. But like I said, I kind of flip-flopped on this one. I'm going to pick Quinones to do this. I think this is a setup fight for a lot of these Mexican fighters. I don't know what we're expecting from Barcelos, but it's going to be a close fight. Moving on. Manuel Torres versus Chris Duncan. Manuel Torres, 5'10", 73-inch reach, 14 wins, 2 losses, 28 years old. Christian Duncan, 5'10", 71.5-inch reach, 11 wins, 1 loss, 30 years old. Christian Duncan, man, what a tank. He can get clipped. I don't know if he's chinny, but he can get hurt, but he recovers really quick, and he's just durable. And the last time I saw him fight, he seems like he's really been smart, and he's starting to initiate some ground game and control game. I don't think he's that good at it, but he's good for the low-level guys. Manuel Torres, he's a new guy, so we haven't really seen a lot about him. He hasn't really dealt with a lot of adversity on the ground. He seems like he's knocking everybody out in the first round. He's very dangerous on the feet. I think Duncan, if he's smart, is going to shoot immediately, but it's hard to tell. I mean, he seems like a really smart guy, so he's probably going to do it, but if he stands with Torres, he has a chance of getting knocked out. Manuel Torres is going to be climatized. He's going to have pretty good durability, but I think he's the type of fighter that fades as the fight goes on. I don't care where he's at. And Duncan, same thing with Duncan, but I think it's going to be worse for Duncan. So they're going to be about even, I think, as far as like the stamina goes. But I think Manuel Torres is going to be way too dangerous. I think he's going to catch him. He's got his hometown crowd. He could take a punch. I've never seen him get hurt. I don't think Duncan's takedowns are that great. They're good, but I don't think they're that great. Torres seems like he's got pretty good defense. I'm going to go with Torres. Pretty good level of confidence on this one. Yasmin Jauregui versus Sam Hughes. Yasmin Jauregui, 5'3", 64-inch reach, 10 wins, 1 loss, 24 years old. Sam Hughes, 5'5", 64-inch reach, 8 wins, 5 loss, 31 years old. I think Jauregui is a little taller than 5'3", but they got the same reach advantage. Sam Hughes generally is the bigger, brawnier, stronger, grindier girl in this one. She's really busted a lot of my parlays. She comes through against these younger girls that are up and coming, and she seems like, her grit and her determination seems like that really wins the day. And she used to be more of a striker, but realizing how slow she is, she kind of went into the more grappling end, and now she's been working on the wrestling and taking people down and holding them down and grinding them out. Seems like it's been her path to victory. She needs to take somebody down. I don't think she'll be able to outstrike Jauregui. Jauregui is going to be faster. She might be a little more powerful, but she's going to be definitely faster. So if it stays on the feet, Jauregui is going to win this. It's going to outpoint her if Sam Hughes can't take her down. Jauregui seems like she's got pretty good takedown defense, so it's going to be hard for Sam Hughes. Sam Hughes always in good condition. Jauregui's fighting in Mexico City, so she's climatized. It's hard to say who's going to have the better cardio in this, and it's also hard to say is how good Jauregui is. I mean, she came on, she beat Lucindo, who I had a bet on, and it was a close fight. And I've seen Lucindo really take off and do much better since that fight, and I've seen Jauregui just be on the wrong end of a few fights. So it's going to be really close. You know, Sam Hughes is such a big underdog. I'm going to pick Sam Hughes. Low level confidence. I'm just not going to put minus 600 in Jauregui. Forget it. But Sam Hughes is going to be the pick. Very low confidence. We don't really know Jauregui. We don't know. I mean, she came in. We expected certain things from her. She's been disappointing us as things have gone on. So, yeah, I just don't know. We don't know. I mean, we can go back to what she looked like, but then against other fighters, she didn't look that good. Maybe she's just one of those busts for prospects. I don't know. Sam Hughes is definitely going to be grinding on her, and she's tough, and she's not. And you know, like I said, I think Jauregui should be able to outpoint Sam Hughes, but at minus 600, like no way. Like, I mean, I just got her at the bottom end of the scale. Sam Hughes is going to be my dog shot kind of thing, right? But Jauregui should be able to outpoint her. I'm not going to take that chance. I'd rather lose with Sam Hughes than, you know, have a nail biter just Jauregui to win no money. Sam Hughes is going to be the pick for the upset. Moving on. Raul Rosas Jr., 5'9", versus Ricky Turcios. Sorry. Rosas Jr., 5'9", 67-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 19 years old. Ricky Turcios, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 13 wins, 3 losses, 30 years old. Another coin flip fight. I mean, Rosas should be the Mexican favorite. He's very young, 19 years old. Ricky Turcios, you know, he's a bit of what I call a loser. He always finds a way to lose. It's like he can talk up a good game, but he gets in there, he just finds a way to lose. He's been a big disappointment. He's a lot older. Normally, the younger fighter wins. He hasn't fought in over a year. I mean, realistically, we should be betting Rosas. But I'm going to go lean Ricky Turcios. Simply because he's tough on the ground. He's not accepting positions. I'm not saying that Rosas can't catch this guy. Yes, he can. And this is, again, a super low confidence pick. If you pick Rosas, you know, well, to be honest with you, I pick Rosas. I just flipped it recently, looking at the odds and looking at the skill set. And we still haven't seen anything from Rosas. Okay, granted, he lost against Christian Rodriguez, who's actually a pretty good fighter. But after the first round, he was getting his ass handed to him. I think Ricky Turcios can really burn him out if he can't submit Ricky Turcios in the first round. You know, it's a tough one. I'm going to go with Ricky Turcios. I mean, I think Rosas might be able to pull this off, but Ricky Turcios is the underdog. I'm going to go with him. Big question mark on this one. Wouldn't blame you if you took Rosas, the Mexican guy, but at 19 years old, we haven't seen very much from him. And is his trajectory up, or is it just flat? Because the last guy he knocked out was an absolute nobody. They literally brought in a guy who's not even UFC level just to give this guy some practice. Ricky Turcios, he's at the bottom, but is he going to be able to out-cardio this guy and frustrate him? It's going to be a decision, and with the decision, I'd go with the Mexican guy Rosas, but I'm going to commit Ricky Turcios, super low-level confidence, guys. Yeah. And there's going to be like parlays where I won't have these guys on at all. So, moving on. Daniel Zellhuber versus Francisco Prado. Daniel Zellhuber, 6'1", 77-inch reach, 14 wins, 1 loss, 24 years old. Francisco Prado, 5'10", 69-inch reach, 12 wins, 1 loss, 21 years old. Both young guys. Zellhuber, man, he lost a big parlay for me when he came in and he fought. Again, I'm going to be blanking out on all of them. Anyways, he fought a real veteran, and then he ended up just getting outpointed. He was hesitant. He got outstruck. He didn't look good at all in that fight, and it was a big letdown. And ever since then, he's never been a huge favorite, which is good, right? But he's got a long reach. He's got a good jab. He's very durable. He's still young. He's improving. He's fighting another guy who's very young, very durable, very powerful. But there's going to be too big of a height and reach advantage. I think he's going to have to stay away from Prado. He can keep distance. He can just poke at him from the outside. Prado's not going to be able to take him down. He's got pretty good takedown defense. Prado does have good ground and pound. He's got some power on the feet. I don't know. I don't see Zellhuber losing this fight anywhere. He's the Mexican guy fighting in Mexico City, climatized, got a huge reach advantage, decent on the ground. I don't know. Zellhuber, obviously, right? Moving on, Yair Rodriguez versus Brian Ortega. Yair Rodriguez, 5'11", 71-inch reach, 16 wins, 4 losses, 31 years old. Brian Ortega, 5'8", 69-inch reach, 15 wins, 3 losses, 32 years old. I mean, Yair's going to have the height and the reach. They're about the same age. The records are similar. Last time they fought, I picked Ortega, and I got to admit, with how effective Rodriguez was on the feet, I was so happy that Ortega got him to the ground. And of course, he had an arm injury, so we didn't really see what would happen after that. Was Rodriguez going to be able to fight away from it? Was Ortega going to be able to manipulate him and submit him? I mean, this is a really close fight. I'm going to go with Yair Rodriguez because of what I saw, what he did with Josh Emmett off his back. He seems like he's throwing up, submission attempts, he's throwing down elbows, and he was doing that Ortega off the start as well. I'm not saying that Ortega couldn't have weathered the storm and then grinded on him. So I'm not super confident in this. I'm going to go with Yair Rodriguez. Ortega's live for the upset. He is the underdog. You'll see on the board that I've got, it's a low-level confidence play. Yair should win. Brian Ortega, he hasn't fought in a while. Hard to say how he's going to come back. Is he confident? Is he not confident? Yair's going to be the pick in Mexico City. He's definitely going to be climatized to it. Man, he seemed like he's had such a huge advantage on the feet. It's just hard to say what it would have looked like in a second and a third round. Because up to that point, he was winning the first round, and Ortega got him on the ground, and Ortega still wasn't winning, even though he was on top of him. So I'm going to go with Yair just because of what I saw in the first round. This is a close fight. This should be more of a pick'em to me. So I could see why people are going with Ortega. He's a dog that literally could win this. This is a coin flip fight. But pick's going to be Yair Rodriguez. Moving on, Brandon Moreno versus Brandon Royval. Brandon Moreno, 5'7", 70-inch reach, 21 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 30 years old. Brandon Royval, 5'9", 68-inch reach, 15 wins, 7 losses, 31 years old. You know what? I don't like Moreno. I bet against him all the time. But I think he should win this fight. Royval is very explosive. He could catch anybody on the feet. Moreno, I find that his striking is really improved when it goes on the ground. Royval's explosive, but I think Moreno's going to be better on the ground while they're on their feet. I'm going to hope that Moreno is going to be not standing there too long because that's where he's dangerous. Royval took this in the last, in the last minute kind of fight. Short notice anyways. He's going to be taller, he's going to be lankier, he's going to be explosive on the feet. He's got great cardio. I mean, even at this elevation, Royval's still going to have great cardio. Moreno's definitely going to have great cardio because he's been training at this elevation. But looking at the fighters, I think Moreno is the second best guy for a reason. And he's going to overall beat Royval, and it's going to be the pick, even though I don't even like the guy. Gonna pick him. Let's go over the board real quick. Sorry guys, we're gonna rush through this real quick and get this done. Again, not financial advice. Only play what you can afford to lose. This is only a suggestion of how I would structure it, from most confident to least confident. You can bet them in a couple of different ways. Parlays, setting up a few different parlays and whatnot. Usually I have lines. I didn't have time to put the lines up, but I'm going to underline the big underdogs. Where's the underdogs? Underdog, 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 underdog. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't have the lines here. You can kind of structure it however you want. Pick and choose and do your own research, see what you agree with. I'm going to start off, Naimov, he's my most confident just because Silva is not that great. But at this price, plus 400, it's probably worth a dog shot. But nevertheless, be careful. Not worth betting on him. Not worth putting him in parlays, even though he's the most confident pick. I got some question marks. He's one of those things. The most confident pick sometimes is the guy who messes everything up. Moving on, Moreno. High level of confidence. He should be able to beat Royval. Torres, I like this guy. I think he's going to go have a KO win in Mexico City. Zellhuber, again, another Mexican fighter, going to win in Mexico City. Ziam, he's fighting Peruvian, so we don't have that Mexico dynamic. And Silva, he's not Mexican, he's from Venezuela. Ziam, I think he's going to fight him on the outside. The game plan to beat Puelles is pretty simple. He just has to adhere to it. He's low volume. He's very cerebral. I think he's going to be able to do it. It's going to be the pick. Rodriguez, again, didn't like what I saw him recently, but he's in Mexico. He's climatized to it. He's going to be fighting a guy who hasn't shown very much. It's almost a setup fight for him. I'm going to have to go with him in Mexico City. Chairez, minus 475, absolutely ridiculous. I don't think it's going to be that much of a blowout, even though Chairez should win this. Yeah, I wouldn't be betting it. But Chairez is going to be the pick. Quinones, this one I had gone back and forth. I had picked Barcelos. I have changed my mind. I just don't know what I'm seeing with him at this age. You know, Quinones is going to have the good gas tank. He's a good striker, good takedown defense, mid-level range confidence. Going to go with Quinones. Aguilar, again, mid to low level confidence. You know, I think he's fighting a guy that has low level IQ. He's a dog in there. He's going to be there for all 3 rounds. Very durable. I think he's going to win this by decision or by guillotine choke. I think that's a pretty wide spectrum. But yeah, I'm thinking he's going to win. He's going to be able to grind Mendonca. I have really high hopes for Mendonca, but I don't know. There's something. This doesn't sit right with me with that guy. And this guy, he seems like a winner. He seems like he's going to find a way to win. Low level confidence, a year at minus 140. I could see why people would be picking Ortega at the dog price. This is a coin flip fight. I'm going to go with Yair in Mexico, but we don't know. He's been gone for too long. It's hard to tell. He gets this guy on the ground. Even like last time, he might be able to just pull something off. This guy's always dangerous. You know, I used to always bet on Ortega, always. Not on Yair, but Ortega, I used to always bet on him. And honestly, I have this arrow here because there could be, I might not put him in any parlay just because these guys are so volatile. I might put him on a parlay with a few other guys for the upset, just to let you guys know. So this is the pick, but like I said, whenever I have this, it's that I might possibly make a play in another way to hedge my bet on this guy. Moving into the 50 plus category, I mean, these are the coin flip fights. Dos Santos, he should be able to win this. He should, but you know what? You don't know how he's going to react at elevation. Altamirano's a really awkward fighter. It could be close. The judges are, it's in Mexico. He's the Mexican guy. Judges, I mean, it didn't happen in Canada, let me tell you. It was the opposite. The Canadian guys who should have won didn't get the decision. But yeah, so Altamirano has an opportunity. When I have these guys, these are my picks, but when I have these guys on the bottom, it means there are going to be some plays where I might be alternating with these guys. But officially, just for the counting of what I'm picking, these guys are the picks. Altamirano definitely has an opportunity to win this. We don't know very much from this guy. We know what we know from him losing. So that's very dangerous. This is why I was actually going to flip it to Altamirano, because he's plus 245. I'm going to stick with this pick, but he's live very much because we still don't know about this guy, which is why there's going to be some things I'm not going to include him in because it's too volatile. Moving on, Ricky Turquoise, again, we don't know very much about this guy. He does look really good. He might be able to catch Ricky Turquoise. He does give up his back. He's kind of awkward, but will he? And, you know, he's going to be climatized, but will he get tired? This guy finds a way to lose. I'm going to go with the underdog in this one. I mean, I could have flipped it around. Trust me, I could have easily put Rosas here. But I'm going to pick him. But again, there's going to be other plays where I'm going to have Rosas or not have both of these guys because it's going to be such a close, volatile fight. Hughes at plus 425. There's no way I could ever bet on this girl. She hasn't shown me anything apart from hopes of her being some fantastic contender. Hughes, she's not that great, but this is going to be a close decision type of fight. If she can get her on the ground and control her, it's going to be a really messy decision. And I'd rather be holding this ticket than this ticket. Nevertheless, Hughes is going to be the pick. That's my breakdown. We'll see what happens. All right. I think that's it. Well, guys, hit the like button if you like the content. Hit subscribe if you want to be notified when it comes out. My next podcasts are coming out. Thank you very much for joining me. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this board. You know, what you agree with, what you don't agree with. There's a lot of coin flip fights, and I've tried to kind of make that clear on the board. Give me your feedback on this. Sorry about this late video, guys. It's, you know, my time is 4:35. Yeah. Sorry about that, on Friday. So good luck to everybody. We'll see you in the recap next week. Thanks for joining me.